Hi, this is Nicholas, back here for episode one of the winter anime season. I went through a week of about a week and a half for my last episode. Um, Went through, I don't know, maybe 20 shows. I didn't get to all of them. Some of them haven't came out that I'm excited for, like Hell's Paradise and stuff like that. But for the most part, I've watched a good bit of them, and a lot of them I'm excited for. A lot of them I'm surprised about. But it's been good so far. I want to dive into it a little bit more through each episode. Some of them, like I don't have much to say about them because it's only the first episode. But I definitely have more to say than I did on the previous episode, where we kind of just talk about the future of the season. Um, but I'm liking it so far. There might be too many. It's gonna be hard to watch every single one of these shows every week. I will say I already had one drop of the season. I actually have like a category thing that I want to kind of um, do where it's like the underrated show of the week or episode of the week. The best show of the week, and probably the drop or the worst show of the week. I think I want to do something like that um, because I want to let you guys know how I feel about some of them and maybe not all of them. But this is episode one. I just want to dive right into it with the probably the first show I watched this season, and honestly, it was a banger. It got me excited for every single one of the shows for this season. You've probably heard people talk about it already. It was now first episodes where they're an hour long. I like and I also dislike. For instance, if it's a show that I'm kind of like iffy on, where I don't know what to watch. I didn't get to watch this one yet. I think I have about six shows. Some came out today that I haven't. This is Sunday, the 11th, so that I'm recording this. Some shows came out either today or like last night, and I have other things that I have. Like I had my sister's baby shower yesterday that I went to, which took up 6 hours of my time. So that could have been me doing something else or something like that. And I still like to play video games with my friends and do other things through the sorts. Um, so I haven't been able to watch some of the new ones or ones that came out today. Like man, I saw one that came out today I didn't get to watch, but yeah, I have like seven shows I haven't seen yet. So we're not going to be able to talk about those ones today, but hopefully I can get to them next week. For example, oh, here's one, the Invisible Man one. I haven't seen that one. Hell's Paradise hasn't came out yet. So I haven't seen all of those ones yet. But let's get to the first one here. Sentenced to be a Hero. What a great start to my weekend or the seasonals. It it was an hour long, and that's why I had to do this talk. Where in this case, I'm glad they did. I loved it. I got the full bit of everything I needed for it. I like the ones that are a little bit more gritty. Like Gachokuda, I think is how you say its name. Hell's Paradise, Jujutsu, which we'll get to later, of course, as well. But this one, I loved it. I loved every bit of it. I love the war time. I like the. There's a lot of character where the main character is kind of boyish. Not really boyish, but he's the guy in this one. He seems like a cool, like, yeah, he's been a war prisoner and he's been effed over. Of course, he's going to be kind of like a not nice guy. For example, I'm trying not to cuss as much as I can, and it's just one of those where it feels refreshing. It feels cool. I love the action. I'm excited to get down how like the abilities work because I know he has like where he can make like weapons explode and stuff like that. I would like to have a little bit more understanding because I love power scales and I love power systems, like Hunter x Hunters, stands from JoJo's, I like interesting ones, cool ones. I'm really excited. Um, it could be the best show this season. There's a lot of heavy hitters this season. This could be one of them. I would say this one, Jujutsu Kaisen. There's an underrated one that I'll get to that everybody will probably be surprised about, but um, I love this one. I can't wait to see more of it. I did hear some rumors that like the second episode didn't get to come out today because of who knows, you know. I'm not gonna fault anybody for that. I'm more into if you have to delay something, I'm okay with it. I would rather you delay something to make it worthwhile than give me something bad like One Punch Man. They had plenty of time for One Punch Man, but for GTA, everybody complains about the delays on it. I'm a fan of it. I would like to see quality instead of quantity. I'll wait. One Piece, take as much time as you want in your hiatus. You already do a great job. Do your thing. So I'm excited to see more of those ones. So the next one, so I'm gonna go down kind of like how I watched them, and then I just wrote a couple key points. They're only 20 minutes, so it's not too crazy. The next show I want to get into and how I kind of have these written down is from basically when I watched the show. So Sends to Be Here was the first one that I was able to watch. This next one, which we're going to get into, is called Jack of All Trades, Master of None. Copy paste guy from a hero party or part S class party. There's like three of them this season, and I think I've seen four of them last season or something like that. Where he they don't think he's strong for whatever reason, and then they do him dirty and get him to get out of here. Oh boy. I like fantasy topics. I love parties. I love adventure parties. There are so many of them that if you ask me 2 seasons from now, so like in July or August, like, do you remember this guy who did this? And you told me that one guy who got ditched by this party, and I'll be like, which one? Um, it's not horrible CGI. That's one of the things I wrote on here. It's not the worst CGI that I've seen before, so I'm not like totally opposed to it. It seems fun, and I do like the concept of like I told you so in a way. I want to say it's like I told you so, but like you did me dirty. I'm gonna show you. But man, there's so many of these shows where it's the same concept, and like, of course, he's like OP or whatever. But I do like the ones where it's it seems a little like, oh man, how do I describe this properly? It's just a guy doing his thing, or like the main character kind of like just doing his thing, just moving along in life, and it's got a very good pace to it, and I like that. There are a lot of like I feel like solo leveling rips, not really rips like straight up, but like sometimes they do that main character like he's like a guy from Solo Leveling, like he's Sung Jin Woo, which I love like cool OP characters as much as the next guy, but like the whole thing with the sisters, like, oh, he's so cool, he's way cooler than he thinks, it's really good. Or like he's risen up, without even trying, stuff like that, but it's one of those like I'll watch it. I'll actually like watching it. I actually didn't mind watching it. It's an easy watch. There you go. It's not going to be something I'm going to remember 2 seasons from now, but it's enjoyable enough and it's easy to watch enough where I think I'll enjoy it. So that I'm okay with this one. Whatever. So here's another one. I have Kunan. So this is the Invisible Eye one. I'll put pictures up there so you guys can understand a little bit more. Where it's like the Kunan, the sorcerer who's blind or whatever, but who can see. Um, I like this one probably on the same wavelength of Jack of all trades. It, it's I like what's up with water sorcerers lately. There was one where it's like the water magician from last season, which they almost follow like the same kind of idea where he like so OP again, kind of like them. I do like the concept where he's blind. I like the building on the character where I like lordship stuff. I like royalty fantasy stuff. Like that's my bread and butter. I love it. Um, Now every time I see a noble prince with an OP power, I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go, another one. Um, but I like when I see things and it's not just like oh, here we go. Here's my water spell. Here's what I can do. I like the training on it. I like the like a good example for me is like Mushoku Tensei, or honestly, the Water Magician was a good one too, where I like the building upon of the guy learning or the getting stronger with his abilities. I like training arcs. I love training arcs. So when you get to see the basis go up from the top, which is fun, I will say I do want to see more magic maybe battles with it. I mean, I think I saw 2 episodes with it. I think I wrote I because 2 episodes came out pretty fast, and I was like, oh, I'll knock them out both, bang bang. I usually don't try to do that, um, unless it's a show I like. Which I kind of this one was an easy watch, so I was able to like, oh yeah, I'll do the second one. Maybe get a little bit more info on it, maybe feel a little bit better about it. Um, so I did like it. Yeah, I also were like, is water magic popular right now, or because I just saw so many of them lately. I like how he's kind of goofy. Like I like cool characters, and I like goofy characters, like High School DxD or Luffy or Isuke. I think it's Isuke from. It's been a while since I've seen that. So or cool characters like Sun Jin Woo, Naofumi from Shield Hero. Like I like cool characters too. I like both, but I don't like kind of wimpy characters like Takamichi, maybe even Tanjiro, or not Tanjiro. Tanjiro's nice. I like Tanjiro. Um, Midoriya, Izuku, Midoriya from My Hero Academia. But I do like when those characters do that off switch, kind of like when he fought Overhaul and he was like, "Hey, let's go." I like stuff like that. That's the only time I kind of like really like those characters. I still like them in general most of the time, but yes, but I want to see more in depth with the magic. I like seeing. I don't want to see like how they make the circles. Like the magic spell circles where they're like in the hands and it shows up. Don't care about that, but I like the concept of like learning where he was like he can see the colors through the water, just to, like that's just straight up magic, and I don't know how he did that, but I like to see how things kind of go towards a pathway because that kind of shows more knowledge on a certain subject, maybe like the heating and the rising of the water and stuff like that. And I like things like that. I like to see more things like that. I don't know what it is with water though, but it's everywhere. So maybe it's popular. So here's the next one, the 29-year-old adventure. So I watched this one next. So this is my third one, and maybe 3 episodes long. It's decently an easy watch. There's one egregious thing that it does do. So, and I'll save that for the last part of this. But easy watch, not too bad, I guess. I don't. There's not really a whole lot to say about the show. So he's a 29-year-old adventurer who's basically just been, he was in the slums. He fought his way up, and now he just kind of like does whatever he wants in the village. He's easygoing. He's a nice guy, sure. And he finds this one girl in a dungeon, and she's trying to fight, and so he sees parts of her and or him and her where he's doing whatever he can to survive. Whatever, it could be a cute concept. I'm not a huge fan of like a older person character taking care of a younger person character. Like I don't I think little kid characters can be really annoying to like listen to, especially in anime where they're just constantly like obnoxious. I don't like obnoxious characters basically. And we'll see. Oh, and no, we're not going to see because I'll tell you one thing that was egregious. Like I'm not saying they sexualized a little kid. I'm not saying that. But if you're going to put in a scene cuz she's apparently like an agent race or whatever, if you're going to put a scene where the girl turns into an adult because she's a succubus at night, I don't know if I can get behind it. I was literally like, what? What? They're gonna do this with a little kid and like say it's like oh it's because she's an ancient race, she's a succubus, I do not want to see the conversation or the whatever they think they're gonna go towards that with that. I put question mark succubus. Changing to adult when she's a kid is weird. It's weird. I really do think so. I don't know if I can do that. It's hard for me to like get behind edgy stuff. There's another show too where like they did a panty shot like 2 seconds in, and I was like, man, I'm getting too old for this, But I watch as much as I can. Um, yeah, dude, I probably should write the whole full names on these. Because the next one, by that way, we'll just kind of leave that one. We'll see how episode two goes, and if I see them kind of lean towards like them getting together or like them getting involved with each other, I might have to put that on the back burner because I don't really support that at all. I'm not gonna. I mean, I'm not the person that's gonna fall. Well, she's 100 years old. It's an ancient race. No, I'm not doing it. Sorry. The next one here, the noble reincarnation. One where he's a noble and he's reincarnated. The one with the sword, and this one also water magic again. He what and now this is where it kind of gets mixed up with the ones where so he's like another one of those like where he's like the seventh prince. So he's a seventh prince, he's a noble, he's reincarnated. And I put wow how an original because like boom, there's another one right there, and it's water again. He's got suit like an SSS water power, I guess is what it is. And whew, I mean, I don't know. I will say this: I do like kingdom building. I do like kingdom building. And like there's a corrupt plot with the nobles and trying to work behind them. I do like that. I like to see him turn the kingdom around, or he's being on the good side. I do like when an adult like because if it was a kid and it was a kid figuring this stuff out, I probably would get annoyed a little bit. But since it's like an adult in a kid's body and it's his mind, I like the adult part of that where it it kind of, man, I keep going Mushoku Tensei. I'm sorry, I do love Mushoku Tensei, and that's why I keep mentioning it. Where it has more adult themes. I'm 26. I like more adult themes. So don't give me a kid having a good time in a kingdom and doing random things. I'm not gonna. I don't like that. But like if you're gonna give me a kid who's there's a corrupt kingdom, corrupt lords, and he's trying to wake his way about it, and he's OP. Sure, I'll watch it. I don't mind doing that. I like the main characters who are like that. He's cool. Boom. There you go. Just don't make him obnoxious and don't make him baby. If you're gonna make him baby, I'm gonna need to see him go a couple episodes being cool, or at least somebody has to tell me, hey, don't worry, future he's gonna be cool. You know. Um. So, yeah, we're gonna do that one. I'll watch that one. I like it. I think the second episode came out today. I think so. I think it's a Sunday one. So we'll see if I get to do every episode with that guy. I probably will. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna watch it probably later today, honestly, or some other time. This will probably get posted Tuesday, or I'm sorry, Monday, between the next 3 days, by latest Wednesday. So we'll see how that goes. So the next one is the Isekai office worker one. So it's he gets reincarnated and he's like an accountant. Or it's the one where they use a bean counter. I think that was the name of it. I'll remember the names later on for this, so I don't have a horrible setup where I'm just looking at like basically like notes, like if I was doing a PowerPoint, basically. I I like when you have a a concept and you go into a depth of it. They don't really go super in depth with the accounting and the money stuff like that, but I do like it when it's different than like, oh, I got ESK, I've got an ability, let's fight the Demon King, let's Demon Lord, whatever it is. So it is kind of nice to see he's in there. He's just gonna fix the kingdom with his money, and we'll see how it goes. I will do a side note. Is this a gay show? I'm like this is my kind of my radar going off a little bit. There's hints and subtleness of like the main dude and the dark haired guy who's like the captain of like the knights or whatever, and then the prime minister. There's hints of like kind of subtle gayness in it, which is fine, whatever. I'm still watching the show. It caught me off guard because it's not like because like if I watch Free, like I've seen Free, um, I know what I see it. You know what I mean? Like they don't outwardly go with it, but you can see what they're doing, and like that's fine. And this one, it's like I don't know, are they or are they not? Like it's just interesting, and we'll see how it goes. But there's definitely times where I'm like, are they gonna like get together? is there like a love triangle thing going on here? And like, you can kind of see when most shows when it's like all guys or all girls, you kind of like see like, okay, I mean, we know what's good. Like, there's gonna be like, I want to say fan service, but like, there's gonna be moments where you're like, okay, is this like a ship thing? Are you like kind of like feeding ships? So we'll kind of see, but that was just one thing I had like in the back of my mind when I was watching the show a couple of times where I'm like, huh, was that like a subtle note of that going on? Sure, okay. Um, the next one here. So, cute girl hero party. Oh, this is the one where there's a cute girl in the hero party, and he's a demon, and he like asks her out. It was one of those ones. I'm gonna have the picture up there. Pictures are way better for you guys anyway than me butchering the name or not remembering these long ass names anyway. Um, this one's cute. I will say that's probably my main thing. I will say is cute. So weird concepts. Um, it's I like how it's a little bit original. Thank God it's not like I'm a demon who got reincarnated and the girl from the hero party. Like they didn't go that route, thankfully. But they went out the route where he's a demon. He's tired of working as a demon. He doesn't like killing people, and she's really cute. So hey, let the hero party go, and then he becomes an adventurer. And this is that subtleties of him being OP because I think he is an isekai guy too, and he got reincarnated. He was a human, and he has OP abilities as a demon. Um, I will like to see how their love relationship goes. I'm a sucker for romance. I don't care what anime it is, what show, what they're doing, but I do like to see characters fall in love. It makes me happy. I like seeing people happy, and he's a funny, cute guy in a way, adorable guy. I don't want to say cute. Um, and she's more of the innocent type too. So, and she seems wholeheartedly too. That mama scene too, where that was great. I like that. I like what he said too. So we'll see. I like to see that. We'll see how they kind of grow in that one. It's just a little bit of a twisty thing. So, um, the next show that I want to talk about is the part-time torturer. So the adventure's like a part-time torturer. Weird. This one's a weird show. it's who came up with the idea of that thing that people do that like is like bad and governments do them like yeah, oh yeah, torture, to get information out of people. How goofy is that? Let's make that goofy. Let's make that regular and goofy. Weird concept. It kind of feels a little. Shows like this are fine. But for me, like I'm gonna be watching like I think like I'm at like 26, maybe 28 shows. I was looking at it today where I was like, okay, which ones I have I not seen for this video? Which one have I not or have seen? And it's fine. It's fun. It's goofy, but it's just weird characters doing weird things all day, every day, which is fine. But like sometimes I do need a plot or a point to the show almost. And I know all anime doesn't have to have a point, or all shows do. Like I've seen American Dad, I've seen Family Guy, I've seen Gintama, maybe. Where you can watch like 100 episodes, and you're like, what is going on? Filler in One Piece, sure. Now, I think the concept of the show is that there's weird characters and you can watch them. Now they're funny, they're goofy. I will say the whole thing about torture being a job and it's like legal and they make it real goofy. Like, who thought of that? I think I can only have so much of this before I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of like, I get the concept, it's goofy, but how far can that get me? So we'll see. This is one of those. I'll give it a couple more episodes. I'll probably watch the whole thing. Who knows? But it's getting to the point now where I'm like, when I want to be dedicated to this and with time, you know, working full time and doing other things as well, how many of these shows will I be like, is it worth my time? Time worth it. But I want to because I like anime and I like doing as much as I can for these videos so you guys all know what's good. Um, so here's another one show, and then like I said, there's going to be like a list at the very end where I'm gonna say like kind of like the anime episode of the week or caught me off surprise, and then the underrated one, and then one that I'm gonna drop off. I will tell you this. This is one of those. Timon B. This one is actually fun. It's really good. I love it. This is the one where it's the one girl kind of in love with, or not really in love, obsessed with a kind of like a K-pop guy. He's Japanese, so it'd basically be like a J-pop artist. And I love it, man. These are the ones where there's two lanes of romance. There's the more goofy ones, and then there's like the actual like love romance ones. This one's more into the goofy one, but I love it. I love the him being gloomy and then him being hot afterwards. That is just great. I grew up with sisters. These are the ones that I love talking about with them. I love K-pop. I'm a big Stray Kids fan. My sister was a big K-pop fan as well, and I like K-pop Demon Hunters. I like I listen to that music. I listen to almost all music types of music, and this one just hits that like tick on there where it's fun. I love the romance. I like their personalities. I like their interactions with each other. The animation sometimes when it can get really goofy. Um Randomly. It reminds me of like Konosuba, where like every once in a while they like have a scene where like mushrooms are growing out of his head or something like that, or like it's all getting wacky. I love that. Um, and the fact that I love K-pop too, there's the music is actually not bad. The oh man, which one? The Supernova one. That I like that one a lot. That one was good. It made me look up the artist. I was like, this has got to be like a one of those where like, yeah, we have a band by the way, go check it out. I had like 300,000 views on Spotify, so it's like not bad. And I'm gonna have fun watching this one. This is one of those. I think I had 2 episodes I can watch from, and I ate that up, man. That was good. You're gonna see which one of these, which this show goes under, but I was surprised. I was happy about this one. I loved it. I enjoyed every minute of it. I was giggling. I was giggling off my chair. So, and yeah, this is gonna be one of those ones where people are gonna like it, like the main dude, like Maid Sama and stuff like that. You might see some ships, not ships, I wouldn't say, but like um I don't know, when you like a character a lot, whatever it is, when people obsess about Killua or something like that. Killua or Levi or something like that. So, but that one was really great. The next one I watched, and I watched both episodes of this one too, is Jujutsu Kaisen. They hit hard. These 2 episodes were amazing. Jujutsu Kaisen is one of my favorite shows. It always was. I love Yuji. I love Yuta. I mean, Gojo is huge. I mean, what a banger to go out. And I will say I love the animation. I'm not one of those people that will say that like it was choppy or nothing like that. I never noticed any of it. I loved it. I love the aura farming. I love the hype. I love when I watch a video and that clan was in that small room with the light above it going around it. That was amazing. You feel everything in this show and you feel that they cared, and I love it. I love Mappa, and it's so different from where it began in season 1. It felt like a general shonen in season 1, and ever since, you know, basically when everything got started going in season 2, it changed. I mean, even after the movie, I think, because the movie came out, Jujutsu Kaisen Zero came out after season 1, and I loved the movie Jujutsu Kaisen Zero, and ever since then, man, it's been banger after banger. I love it. It started up so strong. I love that fight that they had with Naoya and Chozo, and this is one where I'm like, some of these shows where I'm like, I'll figure out time get later in the day. This one might be like when it comes out, I'm there when I get home from work or something. Like I think it comes out Thursdays. Like if I work Thursday, I'm off this Thursday, so it'll probably be the first thing I watch in the morning. It'll be what I'll be thinking about. I'll be like, I can't do anything else until I watch this episode. There's probably about a good like half dozen that I'm gonna feel that way. Senzabi Hero, Jujutsu Kaisen, Timon, or Tamon. I can't. I need to remember how they said that. But wow, it was great. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I'm excited for it. So please give me more, please. Um, so the next one in here. So after that, we get into a little bit more of a calmer one. Tune in voice. I'm not big into if you asked me 6 years ago, or even like maybe even five, sure, high school romance. There's so much of it, and in Japan, so many shows of it. Tune in voice, where a guy listened to this girl on a podcast, like a voice podcast in middle school, trying to find her in high school, and it could be one of those girls. It kind of reminds me a little tiny bit of quintuplets, where it's like one of them is it, one of them is the girl from then. Which one is it? Um, I'll leave this to the end of this part of here, but I have a guess who I think it is. But it's a weird concept. Just by off the voice, the main character is a little obnoxious, but it's not like a dislike obnoxious. It's not like I hate him or whatever. Um, I will say if they all start loving him, it'll be kind of weird. I do think I like a little bit of mystery, so finding out who the girl is will probably get me through enough to where I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna keep watching this. Um, but it's here's my thing. Who I think it is. I think they all are Apollo. I think they all are, and they took turns because every time he mentions it, it would be a different time of when he was listening to her. Like, oh, when she had this cadence, it was during when she did this. I think they all took turns, and there may be one of them specifically who said I love you back or whatever, and she meant it. But they I do think they all are Apollo, and I think the only thing I'll find out more is like if somebody was the one who said I love you and one of them didn't, and they didn't know about it. But I think they all are. I think when they were doing that one scene where they were all talking and then he heard her on the podcast again, like it was like the very last like minute of the show. Um, I think I think that was like, hey, you found us. We're all it. And I was like, that's it. Um, but yeah, it'll be an interesting one. I'm gonna keep watching it for sure. Okay, the next one here, Demon King's Daughter, is a lot to handle or whatever it was. I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not watching this. I think this is my first show in a while where I cut it out halfway through. Is this supposed to be a show for little kids or kids in general? Because one, too much baby talk. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of animated kids in general. They're kind of like a little bit obnoxious to me. But when that baby song came on for hide and seek, I checked out. I was sitting there like, this is a full song that I'm listening to about hide and seek in Japanese for a show, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't finish it. Forgive me. I'm sorry. I couldn't finish it. I can't do it for you guys. Not this one. I can't do it. No. So, like I said with the categories of the end of this episode, this one I couldn't do it. I'm sorry. I watched maybe 13 minutes of it, halfway, give or take. There's nothing for me here. There's nothing for me for the watch. I'm not going to get anything out of it. I'm not going to get any happiness. This would be a show that I'm watching entirely because for you guys. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. No, can't do it. I mean, if you guys really want me to, I will, but I'm not. I can't do it. We'll move on because I'm tired. I didn't watch enough for it to talk about it. The next one here, childhood rom com. So like my childhood friend cannot get me in a rom com. A panty shot immediately in the show is a shot you took and you pulled it and it missed. And I'll be honest, it missed. I'm not that guy anymore. I'm not gonna sit in my room, being like, oh, anybody here? Anybody looking at this? Not that guy anymore. Can't do it. Oh, man, how many times have I seen High School Romance again? Um, it it's a major cliche fest. Every instance he's with one of the girls, and there's only two so far. And I'm gonna tell you about the last scene too. That totally was like, I might cut this out sooner or later. Every scene with her is a cliche. The whole And the one of the girls knows it. She's doing it. She reads the cliche book. The whole thing with the what he writes reads the manga about it too. Like this is where it's kind of like it gets too silly for me. Too silly. I like it. If you're gonna give it anything, I will say I like tsundere. So the second girl, like whatever, I can only take so much of that. Please stop it. I can't. And the whole thing where they like him and they're just playing hard to get, dude. Come on. It just and he's being way too. You know that old funny thing about the anime guy, like it takes forever for them to figure out they like each other. He's doing that way too hard, man. Just pull the shot. You know, it. I couldn't do it, and I'll tell you this: the last scene of it almost threw me, where I'm like, I can't do this. I don't know if I can watch this. Grinding on him, both of them, basically a grind competition on his legs in the middle of class at the desk. I'm not. What you want me to watch that? Listen, I feel like I live like I don't live with my parents anymore, but it made me sit there and be like, don't catch me watching this. What is this? There's like funny ones like High School DxD, some other ones where you're like, this is kind of funny, interesting. This one I couldn't get behind. They're high schoolers. First of all, I live in America. They're high schoolers. I I almost kind of was like, huh? Really? No, I couldn't do this. No, 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 no. I can't do it. There's no way. So moving on. I'll tell you moving on, okay? So the next one here, um, this one is the isekai with a gentle noble, okay? Um Isekai with a question mark because it is, but it's basically like a linear parallel path isekai in a way where it's almost like the same every like it's not like me if I got reincarnated to a fantasy world. It's like a guy from a fantasy world got reincarnated somewhere else to another fantasy world. That's almost basically the same thing. And that's the whole concept of it, where he's basically like, hey, I was working as a noble. It sucked. Well, I didn't say it sucked, but I'm gonna take this as a vacation, which is kind of funny, I guess. Like taking adventuring and fighting and doing all this stuff as an adventure. I will say there was a scene where I think it's interesting. I do like the two characters, the main two characters. It kind of reminds me of like a little knight protecting it, and he does mention that in it where he feels like he's a knight. But I'm gonna say this one as well. Is this a little gay as well? They even mention it, and I'm saying this because they literally said this in the show, where he's like, "Are you going to protect him because he's a little twink and something like that?" And I was like, "What? Did they just say that in this show?" Because I was like, "Whoa, what a line to bring out there!" And he beats him up for it, rightfully, but it almost kind of does because there's this one scene at the end of it where the dude was like, "Man, why did I act so instinctively? Is it because I'm a knight?" And I'm like, "No, it's probably because you like the dude. You're catching feelings now." Sure, whatever, like, and he even like the main dude plays like an innocent, kind of like, "Take me," and the other guy's kind of like that rougher, like, "Oh yeah, I will," and sure, fine, we'll see how it goes, and they're like an adventure party together. And you can always tell because there's always hints. Only guys in the show, like the receptionist, the armorer guy, you can see hints of it. They're all different personalities, so you can kind of ship whoever you want. Like, oh, I think they're better for that. You can see the hints, and if it is, sure, whatever. We'll see how it goes. But like, I'm not gay, so it's one of those things where, sure, if they want to ship them, do it, But let me know. I can see the hints. I can see it though. Um, so the next one, Holy Grail Eris or the Holy Grail of Eris or whatever. I actually didn't mind this one. I thought I was like, man, I don't know. This is the one I made the joke about with like the goth mommy or whatever. I didn't know she was a witch who got killed. Sure. Oh, sorry, spoilers. Who cares? It's like in the first like minute um of the show, and I do like. Now this is a spoiler. Now this the whole episode might be little spoilers or whatever. I like the little split personality. I like that where she's like an innocent girl. She saw her die, and she was getting bullied by the nobles. And I do like not really like I said. I don't mind the "I told you so," but like the comeback or the your comeuppance kind of idea where and then she takes her over and like basically kind of like runs her puts that girl who is the noble girl, who is it? It was like Patricia or something like that. It was like some English name, and drug her across in front of everybody, and I was like, that's awesome. I love that. And the whole dynamic with them where she's the only one who can see her. I like that. But and then they have a dark undersetting where the like crown prince and the princess did something bad, and she found out about it, and that was one of the reasons she got executed. Was it'll be kind of cool to unravel those things as well, and have her kind of like do her thing on it. So, um, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be an interesting one. I liked it. I thought it was fun. We'll kind of see here. So, okay. So the next one here, so these are some of these ones are ones I watched recently. Like some of those I watched like almost a week ago, like maybe right after I did this episode or episode 0. Um, and there's like I would say about 4 of them that have came out that I do need to watch that I haven't seen yet. I'll leave those up to the end, but there are some that I'm like, dang, I really wish I got to, but it's hard. It's hard to watch so many shows with so many things going on. Um, but I've got plenty of time. Some of them I end up not watching and binge later. That's how I do some of them. Like Fate, um, Fate Stay Fake, I think is what it's called. There's like 3 episodes of that already, and the first one's like an hour long, so that one's already like behind, and it's gonna be a lot to get back into it. So we'll kind of see. My Hero Academia Vigilantes. So I liked the first season. I did. I think I liked it. I want to say I liked it more than My Hero Academia, the regular season, because that would be crazy to say because there's so much of it and it's good, and maybe that's just like recency bias. But I like the underground nature of it, where it's kind of like them. I do like where he doesn't have like extremely crazy powers, like all for one or something like that, and it's not like this huge arcing plot or whatever. And sometimes I do like that little gritty undergroundness, and I liked it. But this first episode, nothing to write home about. I mean, it's the first episode of a second season, so there was bits in the beginning. I do like that he learned a little bit about his power, a little bit more, because I did read a little bit more about him in the manga, just little hints in here. So we'll see. I don't mind it. But just nothing to write home about in the first episode. I've seen the first season. I like the first season, so I'm assuming it's going to be the same for this season. Um, I do want to see them because I do ship the main two together. I hope they kind of work things out. I haven't seen the guy who punches this season either yet. I mean, who knows? I know. Hopefully he's back in it because I know he had that thing with his daughter at the end of it. So hopefully he's back in it. Um, Another one here. Wash it away. So wash it all away or whatever. There are certain shows which I do like them where it's like one thing. Imagine one hobby, one thing, and I've never seen a character in some of these animes where they're so obsessed with that one thing. It's crazy. I know in Japan they take very pride in their job and their work, and I like seeing those things. Now would I rather see this? Sorry about that. I keep having some technical difficulties. But yeah, having somebody be obsessed with one small thing, it's very cute. Um, it's one, but there is an issue where I do agree that something like this would have been nice to watch in like a 50-minute short movie or something like that, because it does. it feeds my ASMR tick. There's that scene where she like fixes that young kid's shoe, and I was like, wow, this is like kind of hitting my ASMR tick here, like that one scene from Toy Story 2, that extra or whatever, where I like those things. I'm a big fan of those. I like seeing somebody dedicated to something and making it amazing or whatever. But she takes it to another level sometimes where I'm like, there's no way someone possibly is like, oh my god, let me see those clothes are dirty, please, let me fix them. Crazy, you know. But I love seeing it. I love seeing ASMR. This is nice little like. This would be one that I'd like to watch like at the end of the day. End of the day, about to go to sleep. Got maybe give me something like 20 minutes, 30 minutes to watch, and it's cute. The main chick is cute. Um, there was a couple instances where I was like, well, they're kind of sexualizing this a little bit, you know. Um, like with the scene where the hot sauna, or not hot sauna, whatever, this community bath or whatever, and then when she bends over and stuff like that, I was like, this came out of nowhere. I thought I was watching somebody wash clothes or being on a laundry thing. It makes you kind of love the subtleties of life, because when she showed that scene, every time they show like that building and that little corner and she lives up top of it, there's a part of me that just like, man, I would just, if I just had like this hobby that I just loved and dedicated all my time and felt so much passion from, and I lived in this little nook, it puts a smile on my face, and it makes me love life a little bit more. So it's something that I really like to see, and I like that. Um, the last one that I've got here is a show called Roll Over and Die. Another hero party kick out comeuppance one, sure. The reversal thing is the only thing I can say different about these shows that are like that is the main character's ability is always something different. Like hers is a reversal, so every time she does anything with that subtracts or hurts or whatever, it does the opposite. Cool. You know, it reminds me of nope, it doesn't. I was gonna say from Seven Deadly Sins, but that's a counter, not a reversal. Cool, I guess. It will be interesting to see how like the world sucks and it's corrupt and she's got this slave thing. She seems innocent, like when you watch the Fallout show where you're like, eventually I need this girl to crack and just become a regular person instead of a goody two shoes. I don't know. We'll see. It's interesting for sure. Um, but yeah, so I want to do a little kind of like a little show at the end of here where there's three categories and I'm gonna bring them back up there where it's the best show this is the week, the underrated show of the week, which surprised me, and then the one that I'm probably gonna drop or I thought was worth, because I'm not gonna drop every show every single week. That I'm not gonna have any shows by the end of the year or end of the season. So I'll put that one this week is for sure a drop, because I'll start with that one. Drop of the week. Demon King's Daughter. I'm 26 years old, man. I'm not watching that. Sorry, it's not for me. 12-year old, trying to give it to a 12-year old. Have her sing the hide and seek song in Japanese. Don't care. Not for me. Underrated show of the week. Timon B. Loved it. Every single minute of it. Surprised. It looked like a show for romancing idols for like a teenage girl. I loved it. I had fun. Great time. Loved it. Loved the music. Love everything about it. Um, Show of the week is probably, I'd say, I want to say Jujutsu Kaisen, maybe Sense Hero. You know what? I'll do it a tie, because one of them I knew was going to be good and it was amazing anyway. The other one I heard and I was surprised and it was great, which is Sense Hero. So I'm going to do both of those. They were great. I loved them. So that's it for this episode. This is episode one. I'm gonna try to record. I think the day that I know I'm for sure always off is Sunday, so I'm gonna try to record these on Sunday. And try to get them out by Wednesday. I'm not the best editor. I'm not even really an editor at all. I can't. This is like the bare minimum I can do. Um, and it also means like how much I watch through the week too, because I mean 26 episodes is like almost like what, like 10 hours almost. I think 30 episodes because they're 20 minutes, so it's like a three, so that's like 10 hours. Um, that's a lot of time. 10 hours in a week is a lot of time. but I want to get to them all. I want to watch as many as I can. And this season is great. There's a lot of good ones actually, or a lot of okay ones, two good ones. Like I said, I only had one that I was like, I'm out. You know, usually I have like half of them where I'm like, I'm watching just to watch it because I like watching anime. But I'm happy, excited about it. So, my name is Nicholas. This is Nicholas Watches. Thanks for stopping by and listening to me talk about anime. Let me know if you guys have any interest or any of them, or if you're like you're missing out on this one. I know there's like 6 or 7 I didn't get to. Some of them that people do like the Fate Stay franchise. Hopefully I get to them. If not, they'll be binging at the end of the season for sure, or a random day I'm off and I'm not too busy. But love you guys. See you guys next week. Thanks. Bye bye.